to the Detroit Lions. Who the hell you think you are? Who the hell do y'all think y'all are? Do you understand who the hell Jahmyr Gibbs is? You understand what I'm saying? Let's look at this right here. Last 2 seasons, leads the NFL with 38 touchdowns, okay? 4 more than any other player. Ranks 3rd in scrimmage yards behind Bijan Robinson and Derrick Henry. Oh, by the way, ranks 31st among running backs with an average annual salary of $4.46 million. This is Jahmyr Gibbs we're talking about here. That brother's a stud. You see that all-world player? You see that playmaker? I understand that the Lions came up short. It damn sure wasn't his fault. It wasn't his fault. A matter of fact, he kept them relevant. He kept them relevant. He was the reason you actually sat on the outside looking in, wondering whether or not the Detroit Lions were going to make the playoffs. And by the way, if they did, this is a team that you might have to watch out for because of that game breaker right there. Why the hell is he waiting for his money? You damn right he better get signed today.
And to your point, you said they have Jared Goff. Jared Goff is only as good as his run game. He's phenomenal off play action. Are you going to depend on Jared Goff to just drop back and beat you with his arm? No. You need a Jahmyr Gibbs to get this run game going because not only does it electrify your offense, it electrifies the most important position in all of sports at quarterback. So you need this guy because Jared Goff needs the run game to be at his best.
So ESPN got on the Detroit Lions for not paying Jahmyr Gibbs and basically, a lot of it, they were saying that Goff ain't shit without Gibbs. So I got to give it to y'all raw. And that's what they were saying. And Goff need play action. Goff need Gibbs. So they better sign Gibbs. Without Gibbs, Goff ain't nothing. And, thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Next subscribe button is the bell icon button. And, some people that share that sentiment in Detroit, everything got to be perfect for Jared Goff. But for a lot of quarterbacks, they can have the same roster. Ben Johnson and all, great play calling and all, and they still couldn't put up the numbers that Jared Goff did. And what Jared Goff is being diminished for, what he's doing is being diminished, in my opinion, because there's been quarterbacks that's had, weaponry, that didn't have weaponry and still haven't produced the numbers or success that he's produced. I mean, you can take in Baker Mayfield, you can put him into the equation, and, he had some of the best weaponry in football, and they haven't, been able to get it done. That's why they haven't gave him a contract. Not saying that Baker is or isn't better than Jared Goff, just as some type of comparison, you know what I mean? But, that's the narrative, and Goff should want to, destroy that narrative that everything has to be perfect for them to be good. And last year, the offensive line wasn't great, but he still, produced numbers. The offensive coordinator wasn't great, and he still produced numbers. And, he lost his tight end. He lost, St. Brown was injured. He put up a valiant effort against Green Bay on Thanksgiving. It was just him and J-Mo, and him and J-Mo have never had a connection, and him and Tesla. And he's shown that he can throw down without having every weapon at his disposal, but people are not going to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? They just not going to, talk about those spots. Even when he first got here, it was hard to win one game until they got him Josh Reynolds, So he's shown the ability to improvise. He showed the ability, even when Jahmyr Gibbs has been hurt or start off slow, they still found a way to keep their head above water, in my good times voice, making the way when they can. They found a way to do it with and without other weapons here. So, ultimately, Goff has already shown that ability, but, championship caliber-wise, the people are never going to erase the fact that once he lost his binky Todd Gurley, he just couldn't function anymore. People are never going to get over that fact until he proves the fact that he can get over that hump without Todd Gurley, or without Jahmyr Gibbs, or he can win it. So it's going to be very interesting. People are not going to talk about the injuries on the defensive side. It's just basically going to be, hey, without Gibbs, without them, we wouldn't be nothing. You can give a lot of quarterbacks in this league that same personnel that the Lions got, and they still won't produce those numbers. So just kind of making it seem like Goff is so interchangeable, I would say no. But do things have to be right for Goff mostly around him for them to win? I mean, yeah, that's any quarterback. For years, Peyton Manning had every weapon you could think of, from running backs to receivers to tight ends to, you know, defensive players of the year, Bob Sanders, Robert Mathis, Dwight Freeney, and they made excuses after excuses after excuses for Peyton Manning. You know what I'm saying? He's had every weapon. Brandon Stokely, Dallas Clark, Reggie Wayne, Marvin Harrison. He had a plethora of weapons, you know, and everything was right. And every year he get to the playoffs and he couldn't get shit done. Even that year in Denver, they scored the most points at the time in NFL history, I believe. Record-breaking numbers, but when the chips were on the table, he couldn't cash them in. But Goff should take this shit personal. Like, they basically saying anybody can come in here and play quarterback. That's what they saying. Anybody can come in Detroit and do exactly what Goff doing and really do better than Goff. Goff got to take that shit personal. You know what I'm saying? He really do. And for Lions fans to take him for granted and forget, you know, the abysmal quarterback play that you really had in the past, especially before Matthew Stafford, you know, I think a lot of Lions fans getting over their head. They won a couple playoff games, one had a couple winning seasons, and they thinking they rolling with the big dogs. You only can roll with the big dogs when you get the championship. Now, year in and year out, they are perennial contenders. That's true, but you got to get the championship. You know, you got to win the big one. So, but Goff should take that shit personal. You know what I'm saying? Goff should walk around with a chip on his shoulder and take it personal. You know, that's up to him, you know, honestly. But, you know, Gibbs, basically they saying without these guys, Goff, you ain't shit. You know, and that's up for him to be like, hey, man, I am. Prove him wrong. They wrote off Sam Darnold last year, and he went to Seattle and won a championship when nobody thought they can. You can say what you want to say about the defense. Would they have done that with Geno Smith? No. You know, people like taking credit away for Russell Wilson and the LOB, the Legion of Boom. Oh, we could have did that. Okay, because y'all had no disrespect to my Alabama State brother Tavares Jackson. Rest in power to him. But no, you couldn't have did that with Tavares Jackson or Matt Flynn, or no, you couldn't have did that with those quarterbacks in that position. So to make it seem like anybody can do it, like that caveman progressive commercial, I'm telling y'all, man, what Jared Goff is doing, man, most quarterbacks in the league can't do that, bro. Put Jacoby Brissett in there and see if he gonna produce the same as Jared Goff. No. Put Geno Smith in there. Put Jackson Dart in there. You know, I can name about 10, 12 quarterbacks. But, you know, you got to go take his respect. But, hey, check out Detroit Lions Talk playlist. Thumbs up the video. Share the video. Subscribe to the channel. And the subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications. Increase your chance to get notifications. We go live and drop video. Appreciate the love and support. Peace.